Neil, I guess you're delighted with the start so far.
Yeah, they've responded. They've been good in training, and they listened to what we wanted them to do. They had to, change one or two things, and to get the result was fabulous for us. It was a tough game. They're very, I think they're quite a good side, especially at home. We rode our luck a bit with a couple of chances, but I thought we had our chances as well that we could have scored more goals. So it was a good game. I was pleased with the lads.
I guess you've not had a lot of time on the training pitch to change too much, but what is the sort of biggest thing that you've managed to implement in your short time?
I don't think I can't put it into words really. I have a way of doing my own thing when I come into a club without going into big detail, and I like to have a game on the first day and see the lads. I tell the lads what I'm looking for in that game, and I try and get my opinion of the players within sort of 40. In this particular case, because we've got no time at all, I tried to form my opinion in the first sort of 48 hours, the first two sessions, and then planned what I thought would be the team for the Stoke game on that, really, on what I saw in training.
With what you saw in your first game in charge, are you surprised as to where Middlesbrough are this season in the league?
Not really. I think that you are where you are in the league. I'm afraid it's a championship's a hard league. You don't get any points given you. Everyone's a battle, and yes, I think they have got ability. I think there's definitely technique-wise, there's some skill in there. Defensive-wise, I think there's a shortage of bodies at the club. If I'm honest, midfield I'm happy with, and I think strike force we're a bit thin now that Rudy's gone. But hey ho, I still think the lads that we've got as good as anything in the league. So we've just got to hope that we survive the 7 games without any injuries at the back, really.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Yeah, how much of a concern is that if you are thin on the ground in numbers? Do you feel there is enough quality to see you through?
Well, I'll tell you when we get an injury. Really, Keith, I'm afraid. I mean, at the moment, defensive-wise, we are limited in the personnel and also how we play. But we are trying to improve. Defensively, certain situations, and we're working hard on the video with the young lads as well to show them what we want and if we can make them a little bit better defensive-wise.
Apologies if I missed this in your opening news conference last week. Are you just here until the end of the season, or is there any plans for you to stay on longer term?
No, Steve just asked me to come and help him, really, and so we never talked. We've not talked about money or anything at the minute. I'll have to catch up with him soon. It wasn't a priority in my case, and I just said I'd come and help him when he asked me. He was very sincere. I've known him a long time, and I thought, what a great opportunity to help. I've always liked Middlesbrough. I've always thought fans, for some reason, my teams have always lifted themselves against Middlesbrough. I've always done well against Middlesbrough. There was a fact that I must remind, I think it was one of the local papers, I did get it wrong. It was Blackie who was in charge when they lost to Middlesbrough in one of the games, not me. So I thought I'll have to change that when I see him.
If you've not spoken money yet, you might be working voluntarily until the end of the season. You just don't know it yet.
I probably am doing, yeah. That's right. He did give me a nice meal the first night, so that might have been it.
And obviously, the well-publicised situation with Rudy and the fact that you told him to leave last week. Am I right in saying there's a few more that contracts are up this week? What is the situation with those players?
Well, I've been speaking to Neil behind the scenes about the lads who are out of contract, and so I will be talking to them this week. I mean, they're all committed anyhow at the moment, but what I'm going to do is catch up with them all, later on in the week, and obviously tell them how important it is. But at the moment, I'm not going to be making any decisions myself. The main priority is let's stay where we are. Let's make sure we keep in the championship.
Yeah. So you're confident that those lads will sign short term until the end.
And play their heart out as well. I mean, some people, like when Rudy's told me, I no disrespect there, but you've got to have people in the trenches with you in this situation. That we aren't out of the trouble by any means, and 7 games. There's some big clubs in that next division down, if you look at them. So, when somebody says, I'm not sure, you can't have it, can you? I'd rather, go with the lads we've got, really.
Cool. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Neil.
Neil, Jeff Brown from BBC Look North.
Where are you, Jeff?
I'm up here with the glasses. I don't think our paths have crossed since Scarborough versus Wolves, 1987. Which that
wasn't it, when that guy went through the roof.
I've just been watching again on YouTube. Really amazing. It was a long time ago, but you could have been sitting at home with your feet up and your slippers on. What brings you back into football challenges like this?
I have retired. I think this is my 5th time I've retired, I think. I was planning to retire when I was at Sheffield United, if I'm honest. But I got let down badly by certain personnel there, and obviously the Tevez thing. And I didn't want to finish my career with that sort of memory. And then Simon Jordan asked me to come back into it, and I absolutely loved it with him. Unfortunately, he'd run out of money, but we had a great time. He was a fabulous chairman, and not like you see. And I always thought, being from York, Sheffield, I always thought managing below Watford was the pitch. I thought that was where it run out, but I loved it at Palace, and eventually went to QPR and had a fabulous time there. So things, I think I have to work. Managers, it's a strange breed, really. I have to work for somebody that I want to work for. Last time at Cardiff, it was Mehmet Dalman, the chairman. He was amazing for me. I trusted him totally. It was a difficult period. They were on the way to getting relegated as well when I took over. But I wanted to work for him, and I wanted to show it. And the same at Rotherham. That got my enthusiasm back, Rotherham, because, I had packed up then. I was doing nothing, and then Sharon got her illness, as you might know. And it was only through Sharon kicking me out of the house, really, that I didn't wash the pots right and all these things like that, that I ended up at Rotherham for 3 months. And to turn that round was an absolute miracle, really, where we were in the league, the size of the squad and everything else. It just whet my appetite. That I thought, wow, I think I could get another promotion here. And so the Cardiff thing, I turned a couple of clubs down before Cardiff because I didn't think I could work with the owners. But Cardiff, even though the owners, were, you didn't really know. I didn't see Vincent much. It was Mehmet Dalman that talked me into it, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it with him. And here, I've always got on well with Steve, and I should and could have worked for him about 4 times now over the years, but it's never quite worked out, and he's always made the wrong decision. But so it was nice to. I thought, well, at least I'll give him 8 games where he can see what he's missed.
And that first win, did you still get as big a buzz?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was such an important game. I didn't know the other results. I didn't realise there was a couple of games before. So it was strange, really, because, straight after the game and you see the results and you see, nothing really, well, not many went for us in that respect. But it's not about the other teams, I don't think, at this stage. It's all about yourselves, really, what you can do. And we have to look at the squad of players, find a system and say, to suit the players we've got. It's no good me crying, oh, we haven't got this, we haven't got that. We're not going to change anything now. So we have to work around what we've got to formulate a system that can get enough points. And then next season will take care of itself, I'm sure.
And one win, although just about every team plays before you on Thursday, another win and you could be dragging teams in from almost mid-table, couldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think we can get in the playoffs.
Smash it. Good luck, mate.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Neil. Simon O'Rourke from ITV Tyne Tees.
Hi, Simon.
When you come into situations like this and you reference Rotherham, how do you have to play it? Is there a certain set of rules you've got to follow to get your message across straight away?
Yeah, but I'm not really going to tell you that because I'll probably do a documentary with Tyne Tees or somebody when I finish in what goes off. But I have my own way of going into clubs. Because I never get no disrespect, a club that's doing really well. I always get the teams that are struggling. I have a formula, and it seems to work. But you've got to have the players that want to. You've got to convince the players that it's the right way. They've got to believe in you. And I think when they look at me, and I'd like to think my players would think, crikey, at 71, and look at him. If I can't work hard for that guy, there's something wrong. And I think I'm a decent manager to work for. I don't think many players have not enjoyed working for me, but they have to work hard. They know the rules. They have to die for me, really. And when you're in this situation, you've got to do a bit more than what you think, because everybody's got to up the game.
Your first game obviously was a vitally important, what old-fashioned relegation 6-pointer. I mean, this one is as well. It's right in at the deep end, isn't it? It's another huge game, isn't it?
Yeah, and they were unlucky at the weekend. Now, crikey, they scored 2 or 3 good goals, and so they'll have felt really unlucky. And I think in this league, anybody can beat anybody. Look at Luton going to Swansea, and after Swansea's against Middlesbrough. It's one of those. If you take your foot off the pedal, you get punished. So, my job is to, 7 games, it'll not all go swingingly. There'll be results go against us. But my job is to make sure we regroup whenever that is, and we go again. We haven't got time to take there's no more training sessions as such now where we can spend time. It's games after game now, isn't it? That's why I was glad last week that at least we had 3 days before the Stoke game, because, we would have been struggling if we had been straight into a game.
As you said, the Championship, renowned for anybody can beat anybody, but Hull actually haven't beaten anybody for the last 14 games. Can you take advantage of presumably their lack of confidence?
Well, I don't think we'd beaten anybody for about that, and we for quite a lot of games. So, it's one of those things. They'll be desperate for a win, and you can look at it 2 ways. They'll be even more determined to get rid of the disappointment of throwing the points away, and they'll want to. I would imagine. They'll be thinking it's a good opportunity for them to get 3 points against a team struggling down there like we are. But I don't think it matters where you are in the league at the minute. 7 games to go, no crowds. I think if the crowds were in, I would say yes. But no crowds, I think, is a level playing field really. Wherever you go, whoever you play, home or away, I think it's down to the team and the mentality of the team now.